Welcome to episode 2 of Pursuit Perspectives presented by A.Bevy. I am your host for today, Torah Speach, and I am so excited to speak with the GOAT, the young legend, the artist herself, Miss Nykia Breon. Welcome to episode 2. How are you today?
Thank you. I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm so good. You look so good. It's been such an honor getting to know you in these last few days. Be White, shout out to Be White, introduced me to you virtually.
Right.
You are the epitome of passion, path, and purpose, the three roots of what this organization is all about. But today we have the honor of talking a little bit about your path, how you started, what inspired you, what keeps you going, what are you up to, and all that good jazz. As an interviewer or as a communicator, rather, I love people's stories. How did you get started on your path to where you are now? You can go back as far as you want to.
Well, I think everybody knows me as the makeup artist, or being a makeup artist, and that honestly started my sophomore year of college. Wasn't really into makeup in high school like all the other girls. I maybe wore a swipe of eyeshadow,
Absolutely.
some lip gloss, right, and some lip gloss from the beauty supply store. But I really, got into makeup and realized, okay, this is me. This is what I want to do. This is all me right here. Sophomore year of college, my sweet mate at the time, she always wore a full face, and I was like, you know what? Can you do my makeup? One day. So she did my makeup, and from there, it kind of just took off. She did my makeup once, and I'm the type of person, I don't really like to ask for help a lot. So I was like, you know what? I need to learn how to do this on my own. So I started doing my own makeup, and that in turn turned into me doing a lot of the girls' makeup on campus. It went from there, honestly. So sophomore year of college.
Very, very nice. And when we talk about the path, and it's kind of like sometimes I often think about like the interviews I've listened to with the TD Jakeses and the Tyler Perrys, and it's almost like they kind of fell into what they do. They kind of fell into like their anointing. They kind of fell into like their gift. Would you consider that to be a part of your path? You kind of just fell into kind of what you do?
Yes, honestly, because makeup was never this is what I want to do. Growing up, it kind of became like full circle for me because I always wanted to be in the beauty realm. As far as writing for magazines, I went to school for integrated marketing, communications. So I always wanted to do like brand marketing and brand management for a cosmetics company, but doing makeup, as artistry was never a thought in my mind before my sophomore year. And then I initially went to Winthrop for English education. So,
wow.
Right. So it was never like, okay, I'm going to grow up and be a makeup artist. It kind of just, like you said, I walked into it.
Yes, life has a funny way of redirecting us sometimes. Sometimes it's not always so pretty. What would you say has been one of your greatest teachers on this path, or one of the hardest things that you've had to endure on this path so far?
Definitely being diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer this year in April. I'm cancer free as of September 2nd of this year.
Yes.
So it was, like I said, the journey, it never ends really. Like my life just doesn't go back to normal now that I am cancer free, but that specific 6-month journey of having breast cancer was definitely a life-changing turnaround. My life completely revolved after that, so to speak. Definitely being more, how should I say it, more focused as far as what my passion is, what my purpose is on this earth. It definitely woke me up to a lot of realizations about myself and why I'm needed here, and what I need to fulfill on this earth. Before, I kind of felt like I was coasting, and now it's just like, no, like you have work to do, so let's do it.
Let me tell you something. The year 2020 has been trying for everyone. I
Yes.
feel like everyone has reached considerably one of their lowest points or moments in life. And a lot of people have pivoted and like excelled and reached their highest they've ever reached personally and professionally. And I think it's like I said, sometimes the ugliest stories or the ugliest things that we go through create the most beautiful stories. And it's so unfortunate sometimes that we have to feel like we're losing in order to win. But it's like, no matter what is taken from us, no matter what we go through, the latter part of that victory, like it's always worth it. It's always worth it. What would you say right now, so far, one of what are you looking for? I guess my biggest question is, what are you looking forward to now? Like now that you know that you are a survivor, you literally have overcome one of the hardest illnesses there is to defeat that we know of so far. Like, what are you looking forward to the most? Like, what, girl, to me, you are a freaking superhero. Like, you to me right now. I feel like you're invincible. Like, and you, there's nothing you can't do. You're invincible to me. So what are you looking forward to now that you've conquered, to me, one of the greatest things ever? What's your next?
That's a good question. So honestly, what I am looking forward to next is getting back into doing makeup. Like literally, makeup artistry is my life, pretty much. So getting back to being on a consistent path of letting the world know and letting the world see who KKB is and KKB faces and everything that is involved in my business and in my artistry. Just ready to get back out there. I'm literally like a kid in a candy store.
I love that. Let's tap into it. So with KKB, you have to tell us what that is, obviously when that got started, and what kind of inspired you, a young Black entrepreneur, to hit the ground. Because since you are running right now, like no one, you don't look like what you have gone through. Like it really blows my mind. Like I've been stalking you probably for real since last week when I found your, social media handles. What started the KKB? What is KKB, and what are your hopes for your business and brand?
So it's a funny story a little bit. KKB came from college. Me and my friends, we were sitting around like, what would be your DJ name? Shout out to me. So we were like, what would be your DJ name? And then my friends was just like KKB because they call me Kia. So it's Nykia Breon. It's my middle name. So it's like, oh yeah, KKB, that has a ring to it. So we kind of just stuck from there with people calling me KKB. And as far as the makeup artistry, I just added that onto it. And then I like the idea of faces because I also want to do more than just makeup artistry. So I necessarily didn't want my name to be KKB makeup artistry. Just I like the way KKB faces sound a little better because I know I want to elevate more than just makeup artistry at the moment. But from there, I definitely did my first wedding in 2014, I want to say. 14 or 15 was when I did my first wedding with this makeup artist that I was assisting at the time. And that was kind of when I knew, okay, bridal is like the path that I want to go down. This is definitely my thing or my calling. So KKB Faces is a makeup artistry business. I specialize in bridal artistry as well as editorial shoots. Right. Those two are definitely my favorite. My artistry style, I would say, is soft glam or natural glam. And then, of course, editorial can be anything.
I love it, girl. Yeah, I love a good face, but I hate saying face beat, but I love blessing. I love a good face blessing now. Yes, I absolutely love it. Who would you say have inspired you the most throughout your path, throughout your career, or even personally? Who's been your biggest inspiration?
Just like anybody, or
who's ever inspired you? Who, if anybody.
Well, definitely anybody that has ever met Bryant Kirk White. He is like, no, he's definitely in my top 5 of the list. Jamie Small Nina Tran, the whole Fashion Defined community. Once I met them, my career pretty much got the ball rolling as far as, okay, focusing on my career, defining, what I want to do and how I want to go about it. Those three people are definitely go-getters. Like the epitome of, I'm going to work for what I want. This is what I want, and I produce quality work. People know, and they know my name. They see my work. When they see my work, they see me. So definitely Bryant, Jamie, and Nina, for starters. This makeup artist, her name is Danessa Myricks. I I love her. I love her story. She definitely pushes me as far as her artistry because she's the GOAT.
Yeah.
She's definitely the GOAT as far as a businesswoman and a makeup artist. So Danessa Myricks, and as well as my boyfriend. His name is Trey. He's definitely been here throughout this entire journey. It's crazy how much he's just encouraged me, helped me, like literally physically, mentally the most, and spiritually, but physically, mentally, spiritually, just getting through April, literally all the way up to today, because I'm still going through treatment and everything. So them.
So beautiful. Your story, I feel, is so it can inspire and motivate both men and women. But I feel like, especially as a Black woman, we often carry the responsibility of having to inspire the next Black woman or person in general. Because one thing I've realized too along my own personal path is that life is never about me. Like I was sharing yesterday, we share each other's story. My story does not, I will never stop saying this. My story does not belong to me. Your story does not belong to you. Your story is mine. My story is yours. So one thing I've learned along this path is just that. And as we continue to evolve and continue to grow, you just basically named your village. We cannot do life alone, no matter, especially considering how often this path is going to change. Considering you were diagnosed and now have defeated breast cancer all in a year. Like the path is ever changing. It's ever changing. And I have to tell you too, I love that people give their flowers when, while the person can still smell them. So for you, I feel like too, you're touching young girls, young guys, young boys around this world, and you probably don't even know it. But for those who will watch this interview whenever it launches or years from now, what would be your message of encouragement to them on their very own path?
Well, first, can I just piggyback real quick?
Absolutely.
Before I forget. And I just forgot. Sorry.
We'll come back.
So my advice to anybody watching this, anybody on their journey, would definitely be to keep going. Like, it's okay to take breaks because life happens. I'm a living example of life happens, like for real. Just keep going. It's okay to take breaks, and if you need to, pause for a moment, collect your thoughts, collect your ideas, anything, just pick back up on it. Eventually pick back up. Is never too late to start anything. Like literally, it's never too late to start anything. And I'm an advocate for writing things down and speaking it into existence. I say, like, me personally, I say every single day I am a beauty mogul because it's going to happen. Like, it's definitely going to happen. So my advice is
already done. It's already done. Time is waiting on you to catch up.
It's already done. It's already done, and it is so. So definitely keep going, no matter what, no matter the circumstances, because this is your journey. It's your journey. Of course, we have our resources, we have our village, our support team, and everything. But at the end of the day, it starts and ends with you.
That's it. That's it. That's so good. I feel like that was the sermon, the devotion, the sermon, and the benediction. That's so good. Nykia, what can we expect from you now in the near future, a couple of years? What are you up to that we should be anticipating and waiting for?
Definitely some looks.
Yes.
Not on me personally, but just looks from KKB Faces. And in the near future, I honestly don't know. I was going to say was one of the biggest lessons that I've learned as far as this journey this past 6 to 8 months was one day at a time.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be so like hyper focused on I need to get this done, that done, this done, that done, like all within a week. And it's like, Nykia, no. Please relax and take it one day at a time and know that your future isn't all going to come to fruition tomorrow.
Woohoo, come on.
Like it's a process. Yeah. It's a marathon, as everybody, says. It's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen next week. And even if you have like a detour, just know that it's still in a process. You just have to one day at a time.
Come on.
That's so I honestly, like, to answer your question, I honestly don't know, but I do know that you all will definitely see me in the beauty realm, in the beauty professional world. Like, KKB Faces isn't going anywhere. I love it. My life is actually just beginning.
Come on. And I feel too, and I'm getting chills just thinking about it. You are so much more than just the outside beauty. Like, it's internal. I feel like there are brands and organizations inside of you that are far beyond. KKB is a brand. It's an umbrella of so many great things that you are doing and are going to do. I'm excited for you. I'm getting teary-eyed just sitting up here watching it. It's just like, I'm interviewing this young woman, and this is going to be the interview where people go back and look at 10 to 15 years from now and be like, you remember when you started? And it's like, you're global, girl. You're international, and I'm excited for you. I am excited. What are you excited about? What most excites you?
Knowing that I am here to make a difference, honestly, for myself, for my family, and for anybody that's just watching this. And like, to go back to the breast cancer journey, another major lesson for me in that journey was that it's not about me.
Yep.
It's not about me. It never was about me. I'm here to literally help somebody else, even if it's just one person, that they don't even have to contact me and say, your journey helped me. Like, I don't need to know. But as long as, like I said, it's just one person that I helped on this journey, I think everything else just like tells itself. The story tells itself.
Yes. So good. And just one last question, and it's going to require us to kind of stretch, but that's what this is about. These are teaching moments to help other people, because as we just said, our stories don't belong to us. This conversation doesn't belong to us. But January 1st, 2020, Nykia, to December 7th, 2020, Nykia, what is the biggest difference between that woman then and this woman today?
I gotta think about that one.
Take your time. You've been on the path in just this 1 year. You take your time.
January 1st, Nykia, to now. You said what has transpired since then, or how has it changed?
The biggest change. Like, what do you see the big, when you look in the mirror? I know you have to see a different woman, prayerfully a better woman. What do you think is like the biggest difference? The biggest difference. I guess I'll go really quickly while you get that. So January 1 Torah to December 7 Torah 2020. That girl, I don't even know where to start. All I know is I'm such an optimistic, go-getting, always bubbly, always happy person. So when it took a specialist known as a therapist to tell me that I was depressed, I couldn't quite get that, because it's just like, no, not me. Like, I got faith and I'm always happy. And I've seen what depression looks like on people. But what I had to understand, or what it took me understanding, was just like a physical illness. One person may have a cold and another person may have pneumonia, but both people are sick. The mental illness, quote unquote, is no different. You know, your illness may not be as severe as someone else's, but you are struggling with some sort of mental disorder causing the whatever the outcome of that disorder is. So I would say the biggest difference between January 1 Torah and today Torah is self-awareness. I've always been somewhat of a self-aware person, but to the point where I had to learn to call ugly ugly, get to the root of what it is. Call the spade a spade, girl. I don't care how optimistic, how sure, how faithful you are. Things get ugly. And that's okay, because one thing I had to learn, and I've always known this too, but it's where you have to put it's where they say the rubber meets the road. Like you have to put your money where your mouth is. You don't know if you're doing life right until you're tested. You don't know the answers, if you know the correct answers, until you're tested and graded. So it was just like, I know I'm obtaining all of this information. I know what to do. I'm watching the sermons. I'm listening to the podcast. I'm inspired by these beautiful people such as yourself that I follow on Instagram. And it's just like, you're obtaining all this information, but you don't know what you don't know until you're tested. So that was my biggest growth thing, I think, from January 1 to today, toward like self-awareness and really taking things for what they are. So what about you?
Okay, so
sweet Nykia evolved
from January 1 Nykia to now, more patience. I can honestly say I did not have patience or as much patience as before, and that everything is a process. Like you said, self-awareness was the big one for me. I actually had to turn the mirror on myself and see the good, the bad, the not so good, and the just completely ugly about myself and who I was and how I treated others, and also how I treated myself, with just not enough patience, not enough love. I wanted everything done like then and there. And from January, it honestly started in April, but from January to now, I had to realize that everything is a process, especially working on ourselves.
That's right.
We're not going to change and be, this friendly, loving, all of that person in a week or even in a month. And it takes trial and error that you necessarily don't want to go through. That you don't want to go through, but is needed. It's like a pruning season. That was 2020 for me. That was January to today for me. It was my pruning season of the bad qualities that I didn't need to carry anymore, or people in my life that just, their season was up. So definitely knowing and realizing and embracing that every single thing we go through is a process.
That's right.
So I'm definitely more self-aware of the process of self-love and being patient with myself, as well as being patient with others.
Beautiful. I tell you what, I can't explain how much or say enough how elated and excited I am to continue to follow your journey, and just to see you even 6 months to a year from now, girl, and to think that this is your pruning season and you're just as beautiful, and to me blossoming while you're pruning. Like, come on. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us, and tuning in and being the second episode of Pursuit Perspectives presented by A.Bevy. Congratulations. Yeah, of course. Congratulations in advance on all the beautiful things you're going to continue to do. And girl, take care.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You too.
You're very welcome.